Hello everyone and welcome back to Cooking with Suzanne. This afternoon we're going to prepare a nice vegetarian lunch. It's perfect for this time of year because asparagus is just coming into season and oh, it's so nice. This asparagus is just beautiful. So we have mushrooms, sugar snap peas, asparagus, radish, scallions, all perfect for the spring. So this is a great vegetarian dish. So the first thing you want is a ½ pound of mushrooms sliced. If you can get local oyster mushrooms, that would be my choice. They're really delicious. I would definitely use them if I had them. So right here I have some creminis, which are also very good and readily available. 8 ounces, ½ pound. I have some sugar snap peas, and this is also a ½ pound, 8 ounces. And all you want to do is just slice it on the diagonal in half. And then you can see the peas, they're totally exposed. And we also have asparagus here. And I'm going to just slice it once again on the diagonal. And this I do probably more like about a 1/4 inch because this takes a little bit longer to cook. And you want to take the flour, the end of the asparagus, and just split it in half so that it all cooks evenly. So here's a ½ pound of asparagus, and then I have 2 scallions that I have just chopped up that we will add at the end. And I had some really nice little radishes. So I think we'll add some radishes to the end of our dish. And all I did was slice it, and I did use a mandolin here, which is really nice to use to slice the radish. And then we're just going to do a little julienne, nice thin julienne. And we'll add that at the very, very end. And I would say one nice size radish would be plenty for this entire dish. I also have 1 shallot that I very finely diced, and we're going to add that to our mushrooms. And I have some beautiful fresh thyme that I have chopped up from the garden, and just, I would say 4 stems of fresh thyme should be plenty. I probably have about 2 teaspoons here, so some nice fresh thyme. And then we'll finish it off with a little bit of fresh lemon juice and a piece of unsalted butter. This is from Vermont Creamery. This is cultured butter. It's really very good. So we will add that at the end. Also, we're going to add some sherry. Sherry, Madeira wine, Marsala wine, they're all wonderful wines, fortified wines to cook with mushrooms. They really taste wonderful. Today we're going to use sherry, and we're going to enrich in it with a little bit of heavy cream. And this will be wonderful to serve with a nice crusty loaf of bread. Really very satisfying. And then of course we'll season it with some salt and pepper. So the first thing we want to do is get our frying pan nice and hot. You really need your pan nice and hot before you add your mushrooms. And you're going to just use a little bit of grapeseed oil or canola oil to start sauteing your mushrooms. And you don't want to move them. Once you put them in the pan, let them actually start to caramelize nicely. Don't season your mushrooms yet either. You don't want that water to release too quickly. I'm going to add a little bit of grapeseed oil. I don't have a lot in there. You want to just coat the bottom of your pan. And you want to make sure this is nice and hot before you go ahead and add your mushrooms. So the first thing we will do is saute our mushrooms, which will take a good 4 to 5 minutes. Then we will add our shallots along with a little piece of butter and some fresh thyme. Cook that for a minute. So it goes in stages, so we're going to build the flavor as we go along. Once you have this ready, and this literally takes 10 minutes to put together, once you have all of your ingredients, then it's just a matter of layering all the vegetables. So let's start with the mushrooms. I think our pan is nice and hot. And I think you can see there's very, very little oil. It's really just to coat the entire bottom of your pan. What we'll do is we'll add a piece of butter, and that will give it some really nice flavor. So let's go ahead and put our mushrooms in. And of course, if you can't get, say for example, the sugar snap peas, then double up on the asparagus or vice versa. Just whatever really nice vegetables are in season, this is a great dish. I would definitely want a mushroom in with another vegetable here though. The mushroom with the sherry or the Madeira wine or Marsala wine really adds some great flavor, great depth, wonderful texture to the dish. Okay, I have it on high. I'll leave it on high for a little bit. Let the mushrooms start to caramelize. Then we can go ahead, add our shallots, add our thyme, and we can also season with some kosher salt and black pepper. You want to make sure your pan is large enough to really hold the vegetables, and especially the mushrooms. You want to have enough room so that the mushrooms will actually caramelize and not sweat. If there's too many mushrooms in the pan, then it would actually start to sweat and it would never actually caramelize. But here they're caramelizing very nicely. Okay, I think I can go ahead and add my shallot to the mushrooms. It's just one shallot, very finely minced. I'm going to take a little piece of butter and just add a little bit of butter around the sides of the pan. I don't know if you can actually hear that the pan did get a little bit quiet, and that's because the shallots are cold and there's also moisture, and it kind of cooled down the pan a little bit. So we still want to keep it on high. And I'm just going around the edge with just a little bit of butter because you don't want your shallots to burn. And then we can season it with our fresh thyme. Okay, let's just give this a little stir now. We cooked a lot of mushrooms at the restaurant, and this was the way that we always cooked our mushrooms. You first get your pan nice and hot, add a little bit of canola oil or grapeseed oil, get your mushrooms caramelized, add your shallot, your thyme, and then finish with some Madeira or sherry. Okay, these look great. Hopefully you can see that. Our mushrooms, oh, they smell wonderful. I'm going to go ahead and deglaze the pan with my sherry. And you want to let this reduce. Let that reduce a little bit, and then we will start adding our vegetables. Let's start with our asparagus because asparagus takes a little bit longer than the sugar snap peas. So let's start with our asparagus. And let's let that cook for a minute or two. Now would be a good time to start to season a little bit, so I'm going to just take a little bit of kosher salt and season our asparagus. I'll take a little bit of black pepper. So I put in half a cup, excuse me, of the sherry, and it's same amount of heavy cream, a half a cup. Okay, the asparagus is looking nice. So I would say that about 2 to 3 minutes. let's go ahead and add our sugar snap peas. We can season our sugar snap peas. A little bit of black pepper. I'm going to show it to you. You can see it. So now is a good time to add our cream. Let that cook until all your vegetables are right where you want it. I have it on medium now. It's bubbling very nicely. And what you want is for the cream to thicken, but at the same time you don't want it to reduce so fast that your vegetables don't have an opportunity to finish cooking. I just took a loaf of bread out so we can cut some bread to serve with our lunch. And now's a good, oh, it's really thickening beautifully. It looks great. I can show it to you. You can see it's really nice consistency here. So this is a good time to add our radish confetti. And then we will finish it with a little bit of lemon juice and another, now we can add our butter. About a tablespoon of butter. And then just taste one of your vegetables. I would lean towards the asparagus to make sure the asparagus is fully cooked. Oh my goodness. That is really good. Okay, let me shut that off. It is ready. I'll take a plate, and before I go any further, let's just take a little drizzle of fresh lemon juice to brighten it all up. You can always add more. Here we go. As a matter of fact, you can even take some lemon zest and put some lemon zest over the top of the finished dish. And there we have our, I wish you could smell this. It smells so good. This is really a delicious vegetarian dish to enjoy. Today it's lunch. This is a perfect entree for dinner as well. Okay. Put the rest of the cream on top. And if you take your asparagus spears and just kind of place them on the top, it looks really nice. There we go. And you could take a little bit of scallion. Put some fresh scallion. I love scallions, especially when they come from the garden. When they're really fresh, they're really, really good. And if you happen to have a little bit of fleur de sel, you could finish it with just a touch of fleur de sel. I love to slice radish when they're super paper thin, where you can almost see through them. That's what I love the mandolin for. So you can put a little bit around your plate. You can certainly serve this as a side dish with some grilled, something like grilled salmon or grilled chicken. There we go. That looks really nice. Okay. I think we are all set So let me come around and show you this wonderful vegetarian dish. I think you'd be very happy with this. So we have sugar snap peas, asparagus, we have some scallions, some wonderful mushrooms. You can't go wrong. This is really good, especially with a nice piece of bread. Bread on your plate. And what wine would go with this? Honestly, a nice crisp white wine. Finger Lake region of upstate New York certainly has some of the finest. And I would say a Gruner Veltliner, which I love, I think would go very, very nicely with this dish. So here you have it. Thanks so much. If you get a chance, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Cooking with Suzanne Fine Regional Cuisine. Until next time, I hope you're all doing well. Take care. Bye now.